The Anvil Empire's dev team has been taking a much needed and deserved holiday break. The last test was on December 15th of last year. Now that the holidays are over, the devs are back and developing more in the world of Anvil Empires. Today we are going to be going over Devblog 8 and the new additions that are coming to today's pre-alpha test. As a reminder, you need to join the official Anvil Empires Discord to get invited to these tests. I'll make sure to leave a link to the Anvil's Discord in the description below. Here are the upcoming Anvil Empires test dates that we know of so far. Let's get into the new additions that we'll see in today's test. We will start off with Point of Interest. The previous tests so far have had a few lore areas and point of interest, but it looks like they're about to add even more in this next test. In Foxhole, there is a lot of lore. I will admit, after almost 1,000 hours of Foxhole, I still know nothing about Foxhole's lore though. I assume that the devs want to add the same depth of lore that's in Foxhole into Anvil Empires. The point of interest that they are going to include in the upcoming test are rundown or raided hovels, towns and small villages, religious sites, and temples. I have no doubt some people are going to be planning their villages and towns around these points of interest. These points of interest are going to be interesting to fight around as well, making the game feel more epic and more alive. I'm excited to hunt all these point of interest down during the test today. Next, we have the addition of seasons. All previous tests before this one had no seasonal weather. Even the north was the same as the south, unlike Foxhole. Seasons are now going to be introduced in what the devs are calling Phase 5 of the pre-alpha test. I'm curious if they have a final number or what the final phase number will be. Maybe it'll be 10? As I've said in comments to people, I think this development still has about 2 years to go before it's at 1.0. What do you think? Back to seasons. It's stated that seasons will impact 3 environmental factors: temperature, wetness, and wind. All players will now have a temperature stat that will be shown on their HUD alongside hunger, stamina, and health. As if surviving in this game was not hard enough at times, they've added another way for me to die. If players are cold, for example, players can of course recover this temperature by standing by a fire or indoors. I'm wondering if they're going to add any element where you can get overheated. They have stated that this temperature element right now is simple, but it will be more integrated into the game and become more complex in the future, and I'm very excited to see what they do with that. They don't really mention anything else about the wetness or wind, so I can only assume it's going to be very similar to Foxhole, but maybe it'll be more complex down the road as well. The next addition for this update is weather events. Weather events will exist in forms of snow and rainstorms much like Foxhole. They will again affect temperature, wetness, and wind drastically. One really cool feature about these weather events is that they have a life cycle. They can move around the map and grow and shrink depending on the intensity of the storm. Multiple weather events can collide into one another on the map and stack their weather effects to make the storm even more dangerous. All I really want to do is get snowed in my little homestead and have some meat by the fire. The last change coming out during this test is actually a redesign. I got really excited when I read this because it means the devs are actually focusing on quality of life changes and not just focusing on big changes to bring in new players or get the game noticed. The redesign is on the workbench. Instead of spreading all the crafting out to anvils and sawbucks and other buildings, the devs want the majority of the crafting to be done on the workbench. An advanced workbench can be added for higher end items as well. I've mentioned it before in other videos, but it reminds me a lot of Valheim, which I think has an excellent crafting system. A goal the devs have for down the road is the ability to see all craftable items from 1 or 2 main structures. This will help players quickly decide what they need to find to produce the item that they want. Again, this is not some crazy new addition, but it's a great quality of life update, and it sounds like they have really good intentions for new players down the road. Maybe Anvil Empires will even have a great tutorial. That's all for Devblog number 8 and the new additions that we'll see in today's pre-alpha test. What are you most excited about for this update? Any speculations on what might be coming out down the road? Let me know in the comments. Again, make sure to join the official Anvil Empires Discord in the description below. Wishlist Anvil Empires on Steam now. As always, thank you so much for watching and for your support. Make sure to subscribe for more Anvil Empires content. I'll see you out on the battlefield. Cheers.